Freya Cronin, and the learning experience I've chosen to reflect on is one specific to my role this semester as an account planner. The account planner is responsible for commissioning and conducting the advertising research. This role and my tasks specifically included designing the research proposal, something I hadn't done before, and included choosing an appropriate sample design technique for our primary research. In a previous marketing unit, I had undertaken primary exploratory research and felt reasonably comfortable with the process. However, it didn't involve designing the research proposal myself, as this was given to us, so this was a new experience for me this time around. I found it difficult to make strategic decisions relating to the category of research and the sampling method which would best lead us to uncover an insight to drive our campaign. I realized this was a crucial part of the overall team challenge, so I'll focus on the issue of sampling. I turned to secondary research to determine the best method of sampling to obtain answers to our research question. As this was a case of primary research, the best method was entirely subjective. The theoretical basis for sampling in market research is to gain a perspective of a population without sampling the entire population. From this, the researcher can then infer attributes about that population. Researchers often face having to reconcile their sample selection method with the costs of collecting the actual sample. Immediately, non-probability sampling was selected, since we did not have the resources of time and money for a large enough probability sample to work effectively. The significance of sampling to overall research results is in justifying a sampling strategy to ensure valid, reliable results which are capable of generalizability to the larger population. Knowing how to determine the best sampling technique is an important skill for an account planner or market researcher, and this was a key problem. More difficult was the decision next of which technique would be the most effective for our campaign. Convenience, judgment, quota, and snowball sampling were all considered. So the question then became which to use. The question of sampling often seems to receive less attention in methodological discussion than questions of how data is collected or analysed. Before beginning the in-depth interviews, I thought sampling would be a clear-cut choice and the decision would have to be strictly adhered to later, when in practicality all four were used in some way. Convenience sampling was used due to time and cost restraints from people known to the team members. They were selected based on judgment sampling of characteristics such as whether they travelled for business or leisure. We had a goal to use quota sampling to obtain 5 of each class of traveller, and once our transcripts were coded, we discovered a gap in our research, which was answered by a snowball sampling, to interview who was to become our key target audience. In this, my experience by actually carrying out my own research differed to the theory of it in articles and books. I was left to reconcile what I had previously known with what I had experienced. From this, I learned that designing a research proposal does require a sampling technique to be selected. However, in practice, most researchers use a combination of techniques. This was supported by an article that also suggested an optimized or combinational approach to sampling. Further, in exploratory research, I think a more dynamic approach may be adopted in the interests of uncovering valuable qualitative research and insights. However, objectively, it may be said that my research has failed on a theoretical basis, where it fails to capture a somewhat accurate picture of the population, as this is the point of sampling. In future research, problems relating to the sample design and sample bias can be addressed by taking larger samples and considering probability sampling options, such as cluster sampling. In the end, it was truly rewarding, though, to hear from the pitch that the decisions I had made as an account planner had paid off, and to find that through the sampling decisions, our results revealed audiences similar to HotelGen's own, such as influencers and deciders, which corresponded to our personas of Crystal and Mark. This suggests that despite our small sample size of only 11, there appeared to still be some generalizability in our findings. I was relieved in designing an effective research proposal which we had executed well, and this was the part that I had held the most concerns about when taking on my role as an account planner. I now feel more comfortable with designing my own research proposal in the future, at least as far as qualitative research is concerned. I look forward to future opportunities to put these skills into practice. Thank you for listening.